If you work with WordPress, you've likely noticed some big shifts recently. Elementor v4 is here and Bricks 2.2 continues to evolve. The choice between them is more important than ever, and it's not just about comparing features. Which tool fits the way you want to build? So let's take a closer look at what actually matters for your next project. So let's break this down properly. No hype, no fanboy BS, just real trade-offs. First of all, understand the bigger picture. Elementor v4 is not a minor update. It's Elementor trying to modernize its foundations. So we're talking about atomic elements, class-based styling, global variables, and a shift towards proper design systems. It's a serious architectural transition. Whereas Bricks, on the other hand, isn't reinventing itself. It doesn't need to. Bricks was built around CSS-first principles and structured workflows from day one. Version 2.2 is just refinement, not reinvention. So already there's a difference. Elementor is transitioning, Bricks is maturing, and transitions are where friction usually lives. So let's talk about the pricing. Now, Bricks has one of the clearest pricing models in the builder space. You buy it, you use it, and no complicated feature tiers depending on what widgets you need. No juggling which license or which tool. Elementor's pricing is more layered. Different plans unlock different features. It's subscription driven and can feel fragmented depending upon what you need or want. Now, it does make it bad, but clarity does matter, especially when you're quoting clients or scaling projects. Bricks is just simpler to explain a budget for. Now let's address something incredibly annoying, the in-editor upsells. Elementor includes upgrade prompts inside the editor. You'll see reminders about locked features. You'll see nudges towards additional plugins and services. And some people ignore them, some people find them distracting, and some people hate them. But if you spend hours inside the editor every day, it can affect your focus. Bricks doesn't do that. When you open Bricks, it's just you and the build. That's a subtle difference, but over time, subtle differences actually do matter. Now let's move into the heart of this comparison, the global classes and variables. Elementor v4 introduces classes and variables is a huge improvement. It finally encourages proper design system thinking rather than page-by-page styling chaos. Define a class once, reuse it everywhere, change it later, everything updates, and that's a good thing. But here's the honest truth, Bricks has been operating this way for a very long time, and it shows. In Bricks, global classes feel foundational. Variables integrate deeply, and the cascade behaves predictably. So if you like working with structured systems, things like spacing scales, typography systems, reusable utility style patterns, Bricks feels mature in this area. Elementor v4 is moving there, but Bricks is already there. Now let's talk about frameworks. If you use structured CSS methodologies or utility-based systems, Bricks handles this more comfortably. It offers better overall support for managing frameworks in your workflow. There's also stronger third-party support for CSS frameworks in Bricks, which can significantly speed up development if that's how you like to build sites. Elementor v4 wants to be framework-friendly, but it is still adapting. Now let's look at atomic elements. Elementor's atomic system is part of a long-term vision. Cleaner markup, more consistency, and better structure. But here's the short-term reality. Third-party plugin support for atomic features will take time to mature. If your current Elementor workflow relies heavily on add-ons, some of those developers now have to adjust to this new architecture, and that transition period may introduce limitations. Bricks doesn't have that same adjustment phase happening right now because its system hasn't just been rebuilt under the hood. Now let's talk about UI and UX. Elementor has always tried to balance beginner accessibility with advanced power, but v4 introduces some shifts that can feel slightly inconsistent, especially while legacy widgets and atomic elements coexist in the same editor. You may occasionally find yourself thinking, why is this here, or why does this behave differently? Bricks, by contrast, is far more utilitarian. It's structured, predictable, less flashy, and some people find it less friendly at first glance, and others find the consistency refreshing. Now here's the part that might surprise some people. Is Elementor really that much easier anymore? Historically, Elementor was an easy option with drag, drop, and style. That was basically it. But v4 pushes you towards classes, variables, reusable logic, and system thinking, which is good, but it also means Elementor is no longer just a drag and drop simplicity. Bricks expects structural thinking from day one, and so will Elementor. So if you're learning system-based building anyway, the learning curve difference isn't as dramatic as it once was. Sometimes Elementor feels easier simply because it's familiar, not because it's fundamentally simpler. Now let's address performance. Elementor's editor has improved over time, but it can still be resource heavy. On lower powered hosting, it may require server tweaks. Things like memory limits, they matter. Hosting quality also matters, and it can be annoying and frustrating for those less tech savvy individuals. Bricks generally feels lighter in the editor, but it's not immune. On complex pages, large query loops, heavy dynamic structures, the Bricks editor can slow down as well. The difference is consistency though. Elementor can feel heavy earlier. Bricks usually holds up longer before you hit any kind of friction. So let's summarize things. Start your next project in Elementor V4 if you want a familiar visual builder experience or a massive ecosystem, a platform investing heavily in modern design systems, and you're comfortable working during this transitional phase. But start your next project in Bricks 2.2 and above if you want a more mature global class and variable workflow today. Stronger framework support, clearer pricing, no in-editor upsells, less reliance on third-party plugins for core functionality, and a builder that feels closer to visual development than page building. So here's the simplest way to look at it. Elementor V4 is becoming more structured and system-driven. Bricks was structured from the start. So the real decision isn't about which builder is better. It's about whether you'd rather build inside a platform evolving towards structure or one that already lives there. That's the question that actually matters. Now I'm going to open the floor up to you. Are you an Elementor user looking to move over to Bricks, or are you excited with version 4 and you're going to stick with it and work through this transitionary period? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, all of the applicable links are in the description. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.